Welcome everyone to a quick little video I wanted to make about training points, because currently, as I'm recording this, there is a member benefit for free training point buyback, and I thought this would be a good video to make, especially like right now, because like I wouldn't spend crowns on buying back training points, but you know, there's new players playing the game and they probably don't know how to spend training points correctly, so I thought I'd show you guys. So I haven't bought them back yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's head to the registrar, Mr. Lincoln. Personally, there are 5 extra spells that I think life needs to get. And I'll show you guys as we go through it. I think they're just really important to have. So let's buy these back for free. Aw, yeah. So I now only have the spells that you get without training points for fire. Pixie, which you get all the way back from Unicorn Way. And then all these fire spells, of course. Leading up to, so Monstrology, I actually bought these. These are not like training points. They're not necessary, they're just for Monstrology. Headless Horseman I got from a pack, and you get 3 shadow spells depending on what school you're in. Like I'm in the School of Fire, so I get Shadow Strike for free and Dark Fiend for free. It varies between schools, but these are the 2 that Fire gets. And then Trickster you just get for free no matter what school you are. Sorry for all the jump cuts, by the way. I have to keep clearing my throat because I just woke up not too long ago. But anyways, so you should have a total of 58 training points if you've done every single training point quest in the game up to max level, which is 130. I've done every single one because I've done every quest in the game besides Catacombs. But yeah, so the first school you're going to want to learn spells from is Ice, because Ice offers Tower Shield. You have to be level 16 to actually get it, but you get it from Lydia Greyrose, or if you have access to the Arcanum, you can get it from there too. Training up to Tower Shield will cost you 5 training points, so you have to start with Frost Beetle. Gotta learn that spell first, of course. And then there's Snow Serpent, which is level 5. You have Volcanic Shield, which is actually a pretty good spell. It's minus 70% to the hardest hitting schools in the entire game. So, yep, that's level 8. Level 10, you get Evil Snowman. Train into that. And finally, Tower Shield at level 16. It's a very good spell. You'll use it a lot, and it's just really good to have. But yeah, so that's it for ice spells, unless you want to get Stun Block from Diego the Duel Master. Personally, I'd rather just use a Conviction TC, but it's totally up to you guys if you want to get Stun Block or not. Personally, I wouldn't get it, but some people like getting it, and honestly, I don't blame them because Stun Block is pretty good, but I really don't have any use for it, to be completely honest. So, our next stop is going to be Dworgen in Nightside, because we're going to get Feint from him. Feint is such an instrumental spell for you to get, no matter what school you are, because it places a 70% trap on your enemies, while also giving you a 30% trap, so it could be kind of difficult for Storm with their low health, but it's definitely one of the most important spells you're going to get in this game. So you get it from Dworgen. So you have to learn, it costs 7 training points just to get down to Feint. You also have to be at a minimum of level 26 to even get the spell, but it's super good, very crucial, and I would highly recommend getting Feint. So I'm gonna train into this real quick.
2 hours later.
And here we go. Here is Feint, and let's train into that. Nice. All right, such a great spell. So you should now have Feint in your death spells right there. I have Headless Horseman because I got this from a pack back when I opened a ton of packs to get the Blood Moon Staff, but let's not talk about that. So we have Feint, and then also Tower Shield from Ice, and yeah. So our next stop is going to actually be Crocodiletopia, because we need to get a spell there from Niles the Balance Tree. So Niles the Balance Tree gives you 2 spells depending on whether you are Fire, Ice, and Storm or Myth, Life, and Death. Fire, Ice, and Storm will be getting Elemental Trap and Elemental Blade, and Myth, Life, and Death will be getting Spirit Trap and Spirit Blade. Some people argue that the traps are not as necessary. I disagree, because I feel like they still have their uses. You're not going to be using them all the time like a blade, but the traps are definitely something that you want to get. That took forever to load. But yeah, only Niles the Balance Tree has them though, which is kind of weird. I kind of wish, like in the Arcanum, you can actually get all these spells from the different scholars there, but I wanted to show them off, like getting them from each place here, because not everyone has access to the Arcanum. But yeah, so Niles is actually the only one that gives these spells though. So we'll check that out. And those are like the only 4 spells he gives. So since I'm fire, obviously I'll be getting Elemental Trap here, just like that. An Elemental Blade. Awesome. And if you are Myth, Life, and Death, you'll be getting the other 2. But for Fire, Ice, and Storm, the Elemental Trap and Blade are the 2 you want to get. So, now we're going to move on to Astral Magic, starting with Sun. So we are now in the Floating Land. I love this place so much. The music is awesome. But you're going to learn your spells from the, there it is, Sun School Trainer right over here. So The Sun School Trainer basically is what's going to allow you to get your spell enhancing like damage spells. So Strong, obviously, is gonna be the first one. And you can't get, it's similar to like the other schools where you can't upgrade unless you get the lower ones. So then Giant. And remember, you have to be level like 50 for the first one, 52 for the next one, 56 for Monstrous. And then for the last one here, it's Gargantuan at level 58. So yeah, those are really good spells, very crucial for if you're going to be doing damage, and I would highly recommend getting them. The next place you're going to want to go is the District of the Stars, which leads to the Stellarium, which will take you to basically all of the, or the rest of the spells in Celestia that you're going to want to get. These are star magic spells, there's 4 of them, and debatedly, you don't really need to get these, but this kind of like tutorial, not so much tutorial, but more like a guide. You were about to enter a... This guide is more so geared towards like, if you're like getting these spells throughout like as you're questing, then you're gonna end up having these once you're like max level. Like if you never do training point buyback and you just get the spells throughout the game, these spells are still gonna stick with you. And you'll see what I mean once I get to it. So over here we have the Star School Trainer. In here there are 5 spells, one that's totally useless in my opinion. So we have Fortify, which is important because we're gonna use this later to upgrade to Brace at level 110. So that's level, I think, 50. Amplify is level 52. This is the spell I was talking about. Technically, you really don't need to get this, but if you never do training point buyback and just get spells throughout the game, you're gonna end up having this. I like having it because, you know, I got it in the past, might as well get it again. At level 54, you're gonna get Infallible, which will upgrade to Flawless. And then Vengeance, which also really isn't necessary because, like, I'm gonna have 100% crit pretty soon once I get my Dragoon gear. But level 56, I like getting Vengeance. I think it's a nice spell to have. And I never use Empowerment, so. Yeah, so next we need to go to Zephyria. In Zephyria, there are 3 spells of interest. Well, 2 if you're not life. Basically, so the first one you're gonna wanna get is Colossal, which is at this Sun School Trainer. I believe there's a quest to do this. Yep, Colossal, level 64. Very good spell. It'll last you up until level 110 when you get Epic. And then the next one, I'm pretty sure is in Zamunda. So once you train into Colossal at level 64 from the Drum Jungle, you're gonna wanna head over here to the Star School Trainer. There's another quest you have to do to unlock this thing, but you get Berserk out of it, which I think is a really good spell. Well, it's good so you can upgrade to Frenzy later on, but I would personally never use Berserk, actually. And then if you're life, you're gonna wanna get Mend, because Mend is a very good outgoing heal spell, and I would highly recommend getting that. But I'm not life, so I'm not gonna get it. Alright, so that's basically everything up until Tekka now. So let's go to Tekka. There are 3 actually. Well, depending on your school, there could be more. Like Life and Balance, they have more spells you need to get. But let's go to Tekka. So the 3 most important spells to get here are Potent Trap, Sharpened Blade, and your school-specific aura spell. For me, it'll be Furnace because I'm fire, but we'll go through that once we get to them. So you'll head right on through to 3 points here. And as you can see, there are 3 trainers here. All of these require quests to unlock, but let's check out the Sun one. So here we go. So Life needs Primordial level 86. It's such a good spell for Life to have, but every other school, I mean, if you're healing, I would definitely get it, but if you're not healing, Primordial's not really for you. Potent Trap, 10% added damage to any trap. So for feints, you can do a Potent Feint and do 80% damage. Extremely good, very crucial to get. And then Sharpened Blade, same thing, except it's for blades, it's 10% for a blade. So my fire blades, instead of 35%, will now do 45%. So that's all you need from the Sun School Trainer. So next we're gonna go over to the Star School Trainer, which are level 84. So actually the Sun School you're supposed to do after, because it's level 86, but these are level 84. So as you can see, there are school-specific auras for literally every school in the game. Devotion's actually a bit of a newer spell, kind of. It was added later on because this was all Life ever had for a while with Cycle of Life. Doesn't do any damage, so if you're a hitter for Life, that kind of sucked, but Devotion is now a thing. But for me, I'm gonna get Furnace right here. So if you're Storm, obviously Galvanic Field. Sleet Storm gets Ice, or Ice gets Sleet Storm. Cycle of Life is for Life. Death gets Virulence, Myth gets Reliquary, Chastisement and Punishment are both for balance, and then Life also gets Devotion. So yeah, bit of extra spells for him. And then the Moon School Trainer is totally useless and no one should ever use it. So now we have Shadow Magic. So Shadow Magic is different with how I do things compared to other people. Personally, I prefer just getting every single Shadow spell in the game because I think Shadow's really cool. And no matter what school you are, you're gonna get a random spell depending on what school you're in. So like I said before, or at the beginning of the video, I'm Fire. So obviously I get Shadow Strike for free and Dark Fiend for free. Then everyone gets Shadow Trickster. But yeah, so, but personally, I just like training into all the Shadow spells. I think Shadow's a really unique school, and I just like having all of them. It's totally up to you guys. You guys can like pick and choose what you want, but I don't know. There's something satisfying about knowing that I have all the Shadow spells. So for your next 2 Shadow spells, you're gonna wanna go to the Solar Arc. For the last 2, you had to be level 92, and you had to have access to the Eclipse Tower and do all the quests in there. So it's not like right when you hit those levels, but same with this. You also have to finish the Solar Arc before you can get these spells, but they are level 97. Personally, I mean, no one ever uses these, I don't think. These like 2-pip Shadow spells, because they're not really that good. But they're cool to have. Like I said, I like having all the Shadow spells. It's definitely not necessary, but it's just something I like to do for all my wizards. And to wrap up the remaining spells you need to get, we have to go to Mr. Stellar Gaze over here. I say Mr. because I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It's like Qburn, I don't know. So we'll talk to him, and he gives us, so he also offers all these spells. I didn't have to go all over the spiral to get them, but yeah, it's nice though that you can come here and just get all the spells from him. So first of all, we're gonna get Epic. Epic, unless, yeah. Start with Epic. Epic is the best damage enhancing spell to get. It's a 300 increase on damage. Super good, super helpful, it's the best one. So once you train into Epic, you're gonna wanna get Aegis. Aegis is a very good spell to get. It protects, I don't know if it's your charms, I think it's charms. So it's very handy to have. And then Indemnity, which I think protects wards. I could be totally wrong. I'm not too great at reading these, but yeah. So those 2 are very good to have. And then you're also gonna wanna get Brace, which is your upgrade to Fortify. You're gonna wanna get Flawless, which is your upgrade to Infallible. And then finally, you're gonna wanna get Frenzy, which is your upgrade to Berserk. It basically flips the damage output and how much you're doing. So it's instead of like giving out 30% and taking 40, you give out 40 and take 30. And if you're Life, you're gonna wanna make sure you have Primordial from Tekka, so you can upgrade to Radical from Mr. Stellar Gaze here. And you're also gonna get Renew from him after you get Mend, of course. And I think that's actually everything. I don't get Magnify because it's not useful at all. Like 20% outgoing damage isn't really that great once you're like max level. Or even level 110. These are all level 110 spells. But yeah, so that's that. And then we should have 21 training points, which means we have 1 training point left to spend. And that is Donate Shadow from the Shadow Scholar over here. I forget her name, but we'll learn that. It's a nice spell to have. Again, I just like learning all the Shadow magic in the game. And you have to learn Shadow Trickster before you can even get the spell. But yeah, so let's see. It's level 120, definitely the highest level spell that we've gotten so far. And it's nice to have. I don't think I've ever actually used it, but I think it's a cool spell to have in my opinion. So yeah, just a quick little overview. I have all the fire spells because I'm fire. So we trained with the Tower Shield, which took 5 training points. Storm, nothing. Myth, nothing. Life, nothing. Even though I used to have Satyr on here. Faint, or Death, all the way up to Faint, which is also really good. It takes 7 training points, and I have Headless Horseman for fun, because I got that from a pack. If you are Fire, Ice, and Storm, definitely get Elemental Blade and Elemental Trap. If you are Myth, Life, and Death, make sure you get Spirit Blade and Spirit Trap. They're not hard to confuse, so you guys should know which ones to get. For Sun Magic, obviously we have all the damage enhancing spells, which lead up to Epic, super good. Potent Trap, Sharpened Blade, Aegis, Indemnity, Fortify, which got us to Brace, Amplify, which I just like having because, you know, you're going to get it through questing anyways. Infallible, which gets us Flawless, Vengeance, which again, you just kind of get it while you're questing. Berserk, which gets us Frenzy, and then Furnace, then we have Brace, Flawless, and Frenzy. So, and then Shadow Magic, all the Shadow spells, I just like having them, you know? That's just how I am. And Monsterology is, That's a whole other story. But yeah, I hope this video helps you guys and kind of guides you on how you should spend your training points in the game. I'm now down to 20 training points, which is much better than the 9 I had at the beginning of the video. So we spent 38 training points just getting all those spells, but personally, I think the way that we spend our training points in this video is probably the best way to do it. I know there are some people who prefer going for like things like stun block from Diego. Some people do like going for reshuffle. Personally, I don't, because it's like 4 pips and it's like balance, so it's kind of expensive to use reshuffle, but it's also a pretty good spell to get. I'm not too sure where you get it. I'm pretty sure it's from like Colossus Boulevard or something. So if that's of interest to you, then go ahead and get that. But as far as the spells I got, that's pretty much everything that I would get on my fire, and basically all my wizards. So yeah, I hope that helped all of you out. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.